Hello, everybody, and welcome to the NA Semi-Pro match. And our first map here is going to be Nepal. I am here with my play-by-play caster, Thistle.
Hey, how's it going? Nice to be here.
And Nepal is a control map, so we will be seeing all of this fighting happen around this center point. And what are your predictions for this map?
From what I've heard, Asteri 1 has been on a bit of a 3-win streak right now in their main game going into this playoff match. So I'll be happy to see if they can keep that up in their match against WM+1 today.
And today we do have a best of 5 format, so first team to take 3 maps will be headed to New York. Nope, not New York. They're just going to be headed to the finals. This is an Overwatch league. And so, yeah, what team comps do you expect to see on this first map of Nepal?
Well, right now it looks like we're having a standard ground control coming out from Asteri 1, and about the same coming out from our WM+1. Pretty similar comps coming out on both sides. However, it looks like we're going to get a little bit more long range coming in with Asteri 1 than with WM+1. WM+1 looks like they want to keep the fight on the point.
Yep, and move on to the point. They do HTP looking for that opening pick.
Not going to find it, being chased off. Oh, and Hanamura goes down to Dayamaster's Fire Strike really early. That's going to be an important pick, having Brigitte off the field. He's taking some pod shots here from HTP and finding the Moira. Looks like it's going to be a 4v6 right now.
And a 4v6 is pretty hard to win, so that's going to be the end of the fight. The fight was really won by Day. We're just going to call him Day. On that main tank, he was really able to take control of that point and allow his DPS to get some clean shots, and then he walked in and cleaned up.
It was really a good, it was a clean fight there. They really, well, they only lost 1 or 2 people, and they're going to have a good ult advantage coming in here. Already using the infra site to see what they can see, taking some pod shots and not quite connecting anything. Oh, but we're going to have Hanamura dropping really low and getting killed. Kaguri has taken out 2 people with her barrage. It's going to be the fight closing before it's even started.
Yep.
See if I can get a quick stagger here.
That was a really good ultimate economy push for the side of WM+1. Now they're going to have all the ultimates to push in with, but they're going to have to deal with Ike, who is still super high charge and has that graviton. Let's see what they can do with it.
Iron Crit is almost at the graviton. Fixer's dropping really low here. Oh, looks like they've just completely wiped the team. They didn't lose a single person. That's a completely clean wipe there.
Ike did have to use the graviton for that. You might have wanted to not use any ultimates there and just finish it off single-handedly. And to be honest, they didn't even really need the ultimate looking at it after you see the fight, but it's just a safe bet to use it, and they do still have both the support ultimates, and they're going to need it because Iron Crit does have that grab, and he should be looking for it any second now.
Oh, he throws it into the middle, and let's see if they end up using this Transcendence. It looks like they might just try and wipe out here, get some extra ult charge, and then leave the point alone. They didn't want to use any support ults. They've died with 3 ults. We've got some changes going over. HTP has now... or did he reset, or did he use his infrared sight?
It looks like he has just reset. There is no infra sight there. Now he's going to get in a close range winner duel.
Oh,
he's going to win it.
Pick! Kukugo jumping up, trying to get a little bit more of a vantage point, find an angle here for that barrage. She brings it in, only 1 pick, and then stunned out, but she's still alive. That's a pretty big win for me. Taking them shots, but no more connecting. We're gonna have the hammer down used by Dayameister. HTP dropping the enemy Widowmaker. But they're responding with a couple of good ults, with a couple of good picks of their own. Okaleka is using that res Transcendence has now been used to keep the friendly team alive. Still holding on to that point. Every ultimate was used, and their ult economy for both sides are looking pretty low. Some switches going to be coming in.
Yep, that was a very ultimate-focused fight because, you know, both teams had ultimates and they both lost members at the beginning, so they're trying to make up for it. Speaking of losing members at the beginning, HTP with the early pick off of the opposing Winnow, and that should be enough to push in.
Hopefully this will open up a good push for them, because they really wanted to win that last fight there, especially with so much invested in it. But it looks like HTP is going to be in the back uncontested. They've lost Daemeister, but it's right now a 5v5. Ooh, the res being used, but since HTP is down, they're going to lose a bunch of that DPS. It looks like that's a clean cleanup from WM1, and they're not going to have much of a contestation going on to the last point and into overtime here.
And it seems like that is just going to be the point. Asteri just lost after they lost the one fight. They just let it snowball with the ultimate economy. They couldn't get a good eco push in. And it seems like we're going to be moving on to the second point of Nepal. And it looks like we might be getting a pause here. So we're going to have more time to talk about these team comps. What do you think out of the Ryan Zarya tank line moving on to this next really enclosed point? But there is that high ground there on the left from the side of Asteri's perspective.
I think that the Ryan Zarya combo has always and will always be a really, really strong combination if used correctly. And both of these teams have demonstrated excellent prowess with the combination. But towards the end, when they started building up, it looks like WM1 was just better equipped to deal with that combo. And I don't think Asteri had a response for it. They were comfortable with what they were picking, and it worked at the beginning. But once WM1 got comfortable and they got into their rhythm, there was nothing Asteri could do about it. It looks like Nanas is changed over to the Tracer. I think we saw some good performance from HTP on the side of Asteri 1. I think that instead of the Widow duel, I think WM1 has realized that they can't win the Widow duel, so they're going to try and counter it out with a Tracer. And if they've got the Tracer left over with no Widow contestation, that's going to be a really solid strategy to close out this map for them, unless Asteri can figure out what they're going to do against this Tracer. Maybe they keep HTP. It depends what kind of impact Nanas is going to have on this team.
And with that Tracer trading off for that Widow, they no longer have that long-range hit scan for that Pharah. So they're really going to have to use that Zenyatta is going to mostly be firing onto that Pharah. And it's really going to hold back the Tracer, especially if damage boost, that could be a one-shot to the Tracer. So it's going to see who can frag the enemy DPS first, and that's really going to be what the fight is going to be about.
And naturally, with literally any game, whoever's winning the damage battle is gonna come out on top as long as they can keep it up.
Asteri is going to be taking a weird approach. Their Reinhardt charged Ryan high ground, and it seems like he's going to be there. No, he's actually going to be completely behind the team, and they're going to have no Reinhardt for this fight.
Picking up a solid amount of charge here on Ike, but HTP is taken down really early. That was I think maybe their time off in that pause gave them some reconsideration to what they're going to be running. But if you notice, they have Kaikagu on the Reaper. What do you think about that? Reaper's hardly seen, in my opinion. I don't see him very much.
Well, considering they are running that Goats comp, and any for who are unaware of what Goats is, it's really just a triple tank, triple support. The Reaper's going to be able to shred through that easily, and the main thing with the Goats comp is to try and roll through the enemy and push forward, as they're doing here, but now they're all caught in a grab.
Caught in a grab, and there's going to be a couple picks here, but it's a trade, 1-for-1. Looks like that grab was used. And then Zarya's taken down really, really quickly for WM1. They might have just have this point take here, yeah.
Yep, that was a really great job from both the DPS. If you saw it in the kill feed, there were 4 kills from the DPS combined. And if you take a look at the ultimate economy, only Asteri have those 2 ultimates. They have both those support ultimates.
And don't forget about that Reaper ult. That's coming online real soon.
Yep, that is 3 ultimates right there against the enemy team who has 0. And it looks like this Reaper is going to be going for that flanking kill. And here we go. He does have that Death Blossom now.
Looks like it was picked up, and not many picks have gotten from there. A lot of damage, but not much follow-up for the Death Blossom. However, HCP has gone off screen and killed 2 people. Just enough for them to clean this up, and Kakugo can redeem himself from that Death Blossom and finish up these picks right here. And the DPS are shining through right now for Asteri 1.
Yeah, if you look at the amount of time that WM+1 have left, it's not that much. It's really only 1 full fight and a stagger. And that 1 fight's gonna have to be an eco push because they don't have the ultimates to win the fight with just pure ultimates. They only have that sound barrier.
Looks like they made a bunch of switches here, right? They switched Fixer to that Winston, who's dropping about half his health now. Getting pretty low. Gonna need to receive some emergency healing here. They might have an early pick on him.
HCP is going to be on the flank with that barrage, and there it is.
HCP barraging out in the open, and no one focused him down. He managed to get an opening kill on the only ultimate that they have, ending this fight as soon as it began. There's no chance for them here.
And then there's the Widow Stagger right at the end. That is going to be about the point, and they're going to have a grab to even keep him off the point if they even try and touch. Here comes the Lucio to try and come, and here should come the grab any second now to clean him up. Nope, they're going to go with the Death Blossom, and it seems like they're just going to grab him all off the point, and that's going to be the point 1. It is now 1-1 on opponent. We're going to be headed to Sanctum.
Looks like they really wanted to kill that Mercy in the feed there. 4 people participating to that death. Wow.
Yeah, they just had all 4 of those ultimates there at the end, and when you're pushing with 0 against 4 ultimates, there's nothing you can really do.
You can just hope to stagger out some ultimates, but it looks like Asteri's learning from their mistakes in round 1, and they're kind of bringing it back here. They use their ultimates very smart, and they know that maybe in raw skill they might have a pretty even match here, but if they can use their ultimates smarter than the enemy, then they'll have a really good chance of winning this.
And there's a lot of support diversity on this point. Instead of a Mercy for either side, there's a Lucio on both sides. Never mind, there are 4 different supports out, 2 from each team, and we'll see which one is going to win.
And with Ana's recent buffs on Hawk, there's been a lot of talk about her being back in the meta now. With that nano boost plus 300 HP, that's just going to be too beneficial to ignore here.
Yep, and it seems that Asteri are going to get that early hold with the early positioning on point. They are going to lose their Junkrat to that hook. That's not really going to matter because they already have the point and the positioning. Now it's just a matter of them getting ult charge and seeing who can win the ultimate fights.
Oh, the hook disconnects there. Thank God for hook 3.0. Wasn't pulled out, but it looks like the Hulk's going to be pulled in, and not much follow-up there. It's a good shield. Healers doing their job, but it looks like Iron Crit is really pulling out some good environmental kills with his hook here.
Those environmental kills are key because they do get you a lot of ult charge. If it is a big beefy target like the enemy Roadhog, it will get you a lot of ultimate charge. But it seems that those hooks are going to help them win that fight.
Hulk just trying to stall there, but it only bought them a few more seconds.
Thank you.
And maybe 5% more on that point. They've got an early pickoff onto that Nasus. They will have the Mercy if they wanted to res, but it looks like it's too deep in enemy territory. They're just going to wait it out. Kakugo throwing out a good Riptide here. This could be very, very, very heavy impact. Now returning Riptide. Let's see if it can get anything done. quick cleanup there.
The thing is that WM1 had to use mostly all of their ultimates that fight. You could see that only Zenyatta with his ultimate, that they're all below 18%, so they will have to build those ultimates. But on the other side, Asteri has 3, almost 4 ultimates, so they should be able to win this next fight and possibly the one after that.
Like we were talking about at the beginning here, Asteri has been really good with using their ultimates in the correct way and trying to spread them out against multiple fights, and this is a perfect example of it. There's only one ultimate there, and they can probably guess that it's the Zenyatta. They can target him down, and the enemy will have no ultimates for that fight. Oh, he's bringing it out. Ike's burst down pretty early there. Supercharger down for Asteri when HTTP doesn't just used her Infocyte. So there's a lot of ultimates going through on either side. Okalaki will have her nano boost for the next fight most likely, and Keikugo has actually just now used the Riptire. So the ultimate economy is not doing great for them right now.
And it doesn't even seem like they're going to be able to get a stagger, and WM1 are going to take the first map of Nepal, 2 more just like that, and they will be headed straight to the finals. Here is your play of the game. One of those great barrages, always getting 1 or 2 out of the barrages and never dying. This was the fight that they won with just the grav, even when the grav wasn't even needed. And as I was saying, it was a barrage. It wasn't even a barrage. And you can see that he has 28% team hero damage. And on that note, we are going to be headed to a break, and we will see you soon in map 2. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the glorious country of Australia. We are here at Junkertown, the second map of the OTC semifinals. WM+1 is up 1-0, and they are on defense first. What did you think of the first map?
The first map was really, it was a good fight. There was no one way about it. They were back and forth, and no one got stomped. Asteri 1 opened up with a fantastic performance, but unfortunately they were shut down pretty quick, and it ended up with WM+1. Even though they didn't have as good an ult economy going, they still raw skilled it out.
Yeah, Overwatch is a game of ultimates, but it doesn't force high skill players to not win because they can just outskill the other team's ultimates and outplay the enemy ultimates. And it seems like, well, Junkertown is a map famous for pirate ship. You throw the bastion on the payload, and then your sails to make that ship go are the shields in front of it. I'm wondering if we will see a pirate ship from Asteri 1. Seems like they're not going to. They're going to go with the triple tank, one healer, however. Oh, and WM+1 is in this sneaky left room position. And here they're going to push right onto the point.
They're gonna come out slamming, not gonna try and hide any skill at all here. They're gonna open up and try and get some picks. We're gonna have an even trade here. Both supports being gunned down, one on each side, but we have a tank dropping for WM+1 here, and it looks like Asteri 1 is gonna hold pretty solidly. They've only lost one player, but they should be back pretty soon.
Yeah, that is, and it was the Lucio that they lost, so he can speed boy right back with those wall rides. And that sneaky position was really crucial for them. They're running goats, however, so they're not going to be able to deal with this Pharah. Goats is that triple tank, triple support, and no tanks really have those long-range capabilities. Even Hammond with the hit scan, it has a very high damage fall off. And HCP is going to get the early pick.
HCP is coming in and working wonders for this team, just poking over and over and over again. As people are dropping low, they either need to focus on the ground or they focus on the Pharah. There's no in between. Dragon Strike going down the middle here. It looks like that's going to clear the point off a little bit so that WM+1 can make a little bit more of a definitive mark on this payload escort bar. And as they're going to demech Iron Crit and just kill him right off the bat. No stagger here. Probably the wiser choice. HTP may be looking for that barrage in the backline.
Ike already with that Diva Bomb back, which is a huge...
Impressive. We're looking at really high skilled people here. Spent hours and hours perfecting their craft.
It's a semi-pro semifinals, as I was saying. And the grab is there for Nanos, and it should be right there. There it is, and with the Coalescence comboed with it.
And it looks like they're going to hold it out real quick here just before the checkpoint. Now the checkpoints will give them extra time and they can't be rolled past them. So that's a really big stop to not let them reach that checkpoint, because without the checkpoint they don't get any more time. They want, and the Asteri 1 wants to run down the clock as much as possible so they can reach that checkpoint before in the amount of time that WM+1 took. So they want to stop it pretty early here. It looks like that's what they're trying to do.
You see this very cheeky position on the right, but it's going to get spotted out by that Hanzo sonar arrow. So it seems like they're going to be able to just dive into the small room with their triple tank comp. And here we go. The Diva on Ike is kind of out of position and not able to help with the engage. There's a Diva Bomb which is going to get through.
Now it looks like what was happening here is Ike was trying, and maybe a little out of line here, trying to find out where they were positioning their Hanamurai so they could see if they could manage to sneak in. They needed to know where that Widowmaker was because she wasn't in the main bar where everyone else was. Now this was the downfall for them because they had no tanks to protect their front line. and now they're going to be moving in with 2 ultimates to their name on both sides. However, WM1 is going to be a lot closer to that Mercy ultimate than either of them are to their second support ultimate.
And Fixer.
Hammer down, throwing out fat shatter here. Looks like they're going to open this up like a can of tuna. There's nothing here that does not scream Asteri 1 in here. Every kill on that feed is blue. They've just completely wiped the board clean here. They're probably going to get a good stagger.
Dragon Strike in, they're going to be able to touch that payload hardly, but it seems like they are going to get cleaned right off. Iron hit with the 2K, but then the double sniper from the side of Asteri 1 is going to come right back with it. It seems like Asteri 1 is going to win this fight, and they are still going to have 2 ultimates. But there's the Diva Bomb from Iron Crit, but it's not going to do anything. In the meantime, Nanos got 2 and got his Grav, so that's going to be huge to try and collect all of the people staggering onto the point and win that point. Ike still does have the Diva Bomb, so he's going to be able to stall a tiny bit longer, but there's going to be both the barriers from the Zarya and the Reinhardt there, so no one's going to die to that. And now there's just a straight stagger. Widowmaker, Lucio, and Tracer on the point. Lucio probably the slipperiest of them all. He's going to stay on the longest, but he's still not going to make it.
Final shatter there from Fixer. Just the metaphorical nail in the coffin, getting them closed on out. That was a pretty distinctive full hold from WM1 there. It looks like that all they have to do is reach that one point where we see the payload currently. They have to reach there in order to win the match. And if they do that, they're going to go 2-0 here on this game.
2-0 is what you want to see if you are WM1, because, you know, then you put the pressure on to Asteri, and they have to pull off a reverse sweep. Despite it being only 2 words, it is a very hard task to complete a reverse sweep. You have to get all 3 maps without dropping a single one.
If Asteri 1 loses this, there can be no more mistakes. And unfortunately, as far as we've seen here, that seems to be very unlikely. The odds are stacked against them, but that's not to say there's no chance. There's always a chance, and it's always going to be there's always a chance for it to be a close game. And I think that even though Asteri 1 is looking death in the face right now with a possible 2-1 deficit, it's been a really hard-fought match nonetheless.
Yeah, especially with these tank lines. It's been all about the tanks this match. Who could play more aggressively, who could push for more space and open it up for their DPS to go in and get the picks. And it seems like they're going to be running a pirate ship on the attack on the side of WM1 with a double shield and the damage boost from the Mercy. All they need is that first point, and that's what you want to use that pirate ship for. It seems that WM1 is all in this left side room here, so they're going to have that natural cover from the Bastion.
Bastion's taken down really early here, and picks are going from both sides. However, it's all red in the kill feed here. The only kill from the only blue kill here is the Diva mech. So we haven't even gotten the full Diva death here. That can be unfortunate for the attacking side, however, because they don't have that Diva in their mech. They can get pushed down really quickly, and they're not much of use.
Ike is going to get that Diva mech back, though, so it's going to be a full push. They did switch off that Bastion to the Doomfist because they couldn't get that pirate ship rolling. And the Doomfist, I wouldn't necessarily say is a good pick here. You have the Moira who can fade out of it, the Lucio can speed away, and the Brigitte they can stun you out of it. And there's going to be a really hard push here from Asteri.
Asteri has just closed out this fight. There's some pretty even picks on either side, and it was definitely unfortunate that Ike managed to kill off Gandhi there. And it's just looking like it's closed out. This was supposed to be an easy take here based on the past results. And no matter what he tries, Eniskimo cannot keep his Roadhog alive. They've already got the rally up, so they're going to have that extra armor for the next fight, that extra 100 HP, which can take more damage than normal HP. And it's going to be good to see that they can play a little bit more aggressively here. But I don't think they need the help. It looks very one-sided as of right now. They're going to use the Transcendence to try and keep their team members alive. That's going to run out pretty quick. Got a quick pick on Iron Crit that's going to be res back up by Gandhi, so that means res is down. They're pushing. Going to try and do a C9 maneuver here. HTP looking for that Meteor Strike location. Worried it's going to be on him. HTP's taken out of the fight by Fixer. Hooked Iron Crit. Oh, here we go.
Two ultimates being used, the sound barrier, then the whole hog, and it's just going to be a stalemate. Neither ultimate really doing anything, but WM1 doesn't need the ultimate to do anything. They are already pushing mighty fine. They are going to have that barrage, which is going to come out right now, and that's going to be a complete team wipe and a map win for WM1.
It's really unfortunate there for Asteri 1, because like I was saying before, they're really clearly, they're not a bad team, and they're doing some fantastic things here, but the ult economy, they just learned to do better.
Yep, you can see that the DPS from WM1 really thriving off of all the space they were given from their tank line, and which really allowed them to win map 2, and they just need to win one more and they are headed to the finals. We are going to head to a break and we will see you in map 3. Welcome back, everybody, to the OTC NA Semi-Pro Season 6 Semi-Finals. We are now on Map 3, Temple of Anubis. The current score is W+M1, sorry, 2 to Asteri 1-0. So WN1 wins this map, then they go straight to the finals, and Asteri will be going home, but they still have a chance to get that reverse sweep, and I am here with my co-casters, Bristol.
This has been a really interesting game, back and forth and back and forth. Although we've got our scoreboard would tell a different story. It's been really, really close. And I think that we've still got an interesting game ahead of us, and there's really no reason to write off Asteri 1 right now. They've been doing really, really well.
Yeah, both teams, in my opinion, worthy to go to the finals, but sadly this is a competition and only one can go. So it seems that this defense from WM1 is going to be running that dive comp into a double sniper comp, and dive is really the counter to a double sniper if think about it, because there's so much high ground contest from that dive comp. They can really get in those snipers' face, and let's see how this goes.
Quick peek here, and there's not going to be anything seen. They're hiding in a rather cheeky position, and no one actually, it looks like they can't find out where they are right now. Have our Winston Diva up top. They've been discovered by Hanzo. Kikugo's taken some shots on them, got a little bit up on his ult percentage. Now going into this fight, Sunhawk, who do you think is going to be the most important player here for Asteri 1 if they want to win this back?
They need to get some key picks with these snipers. But dive already going out onto that window and now onto that Hanzo. But the snipers are going to be able to fight through it and live, and even in the meantime, Kikugo's going to get a pick.
Looks like it's going to be a really, really even fight going back and forth. I think it's been alternating for every single pick, blue and red, blue and red. It looks very, very even, and unfortunately, that probably means a little bit worse news for the defense than it does for the attackers. Defenders have naturally, on these kinds of maps, got a much longer way back, although it seems as if WM1 has started fighting their way back onto the point here.
Yeah, WM1 are eventually going to lose this point because they do not have the numbers. The long walk back to first point is really going to hurt them, but they have a spawn advantage on the second point. So much of a spawn advantage that some people often complain about the defensive spawn advantage and normally say 2CP lol when they do not get the point when they team wipe.
Now, it really is true here that there was a lot of complaints about that. However, it is really just like a walk around the block, isn't it? To get back to your control point that you're defending, you spawn and then you walk 3 feet, you're on the point. But however, that does not excuse not taking the second point. The second point has been very, very difficult to get, and it's obvious. Everyone talking about 2CP, you're gonna get the first point no matter what. And it's a lot harder to get the second point no matter what because of the way spawns work. But do you think that Asteri's got an advantage on this point, seeing their team comp and their ult advantage here?
The ult advantage isn't really that much, considering that both teams almost have 6 ultimates. HTP is going to pop that infra site to get the information that 3 of them are on the high ground right here. Ike is going to go up on the high ground and boop them off, and that's going to leave Anos with the open kill.
You're going to throw in a Diva Bomb and try and disrupt their back line. They unfortunately get the pick, and they're going to be reset back here. There's really nothing they can do without a Zenyatta and a DMAC Diva. There's nothing they can do. They're going to have to walk all the way back. But the real question is, with the ultimates that they've got, is it enough, or are they going to have to wait for another infrared site so they know where they're going before they push?
They could do it with the sonar arrow from Hanzo to push to see where they are. You can see how the sonar arrow already sees that Winston, and if they can get a good pick with this Dragon Strike Diva Bomb, combo, zoning them with the Dragon Strike, and then throws Diva Bomb right into them. They could possibly get this done. But the Zenyatta is almost going to fall, but he's actually saved by that Mercy. So
Fixer dropping really low here, and he's taken out. Oh my gosh. Point picks on either side. Like I said, it's been really even here. Back and forth. However, WM1 is going to be wiped a little bit more here. We have Fixer retreating back into the backline, but he's being taken out by Ike, and HTTP has been doing really well. Daemeister almost getting that pick onto the Zenyatta, but he's just now avoided. Hanamura, now that he's free to reign, he's going and killing every single person that he can find. They could have had a good advantage there to get back and take the second point, but like we were talking about before, the respawns are very quick, so if they don't take advantage of it immediately, they're not going to get anything done. Now we see HTP is switched over to the Brigitte. Do you think he's trying to go against the Nanas and the Hanamura problem that they've got going here?
The really Brigitte counters a dive just in a hole, and really Brigitte needs to be there where the dive is to counter it, and when they are not there, then she can't counter it. But there's going to be a C9 attempt to try and get at least one tick, and there it is. The Brigitte's going to be able to get one tick using that whip shot to knock that Winston back, so they're going to be able to get one tick at least.
Now with everything, there is really a cost-benefit analysis to be had there, because their push was shut down immediately by a Tracer, which the Brigitte was meant to counter, I'm guessing. But the Brigitte went into their backline, and they chose to have the Brigitte attempt for the C9 one tick, which they got. But why wouldn't they use the Zenyatta, or not the Zenyatta, the Genji? Why wouldn't they use the Genji, who's the actual mobile hero, to get to the back? Is it too expected? Or were they just thinking that this person's stealthier?
Brigitte just had the opportunity to go for it, so he did, and, well, it paid off with that whip shot. Now there's going to be a Shatter plus Transcendence here for the side of Asteri, but then Hanamura, he's going to be there with the Dragon Blade. He's going to get one, and he's going to not get the second because he does pull out the Dragon Blade of his own, and he's just going to walk away with it. He's only going to be able to get one with the Dragon Blade because he was trying to chase down Hanamura, who will eventually get the pick off onto him, and it seems like WM1's going to win the fight.
Now that they've gotten the first tick, it's really about getting that percentage on the board, because the more of a cushion they can develop, the easier it will be for them to win the map and hopefully going up and getting the second point. Now they have Daemeister switching over and going onto the Winston now, because I really think this Hanamura is giving them a problem on the Genji. They're just not figuring out how to deal with it. Now HTTP was supposed to be the solution to this problem, but as we can see, HTTP has been out of the fight for one reason or another. First, because he was on the point to try and get a stealthy C9, and second, because he was the first taken out by a Dragon Blade. Now, do you think HTTP's got to clean up his act, or do you think there's going to be someone else to do it here?
HTTP just needs to play more around his team, because the only place that the stun is utilized is with a team, and it seems like HTTP and his gang are going to be able to roll right onto the point, and they're going to get one. They are going to get two ticks, and despite that, there's going to be a Reaper coming out who's going to get two plus the Transcendence, so they're most likely going to get pushed back here.
Now, one of the deadliest combinations, in my opinion, is a Reaper plus a Transcendence, because if you can get the Reaper close to your tank lines, then there's really nothing anyone can do. With that 800 health, the second that the Transcendence gives you, he's almost unkillable except for an immediate headshot or anything else that can one-hit him. But there's not really anyone who could one-hit the Reaper on the enemy team, so he is unkillable walking into a Winston, and then also walking into your backline. They've got an easy defense matrix, but with the Reaper's Death Blossom almost up from that one use of the push and the Transcendence, it could be a really easy stop if HTTP doesn't actually get his act together and know how to stun this. Going in for the Death Blossom probably, but there's no stun coming in, and it's a clean wipe. The last person on point is Ike, and Baby Diva gets cleaned out, and there's no chance. A solid team kill.
That was a really big, actually kind of a really bad play from the Zenyatta from the side of Asteri. It wasn't a bad play, but in hindsight, it does look kind of silly that he pops a Transcendence so early. They were just trying to get to the point and make sure that everyone made it to the point. But then there was a free opportunity for that Death Blossom. And now we are going to see WM1 on the attack. They aren't just going for first point this time like they were on Junkertown. Now they have to practically cap both points. First point being easier, like you said, that most teams capture that first point, but now they will have to go on to that second point and capture almost all of it. And it seems like they're going to be rolling out with that GOATS comp 3 tanks and 3 supports. And really, they're not going to have anything to contest these snipers in the air. They're going to have that Diva, but the Diva alone can't really do much against a Hanzo. Can do somewhat against that Widow alone, but not the Hanzo with those storm arrows. Those generally new storm arrows, not that new anymore.
But you want to talk about new? We've got Ike coming out on a Symmetra, and Symmetra's got a massive rework that almost makes her a new hero. But it looks like they're going to be retreating and only using Symmetra for achieving high ground, boosting her back here, and going to be switching her out for someone else.
Yeah, you used to see that with the Mei, but now it's just easier with the Symmetra. So now they're going to be on that Orisa Diva so that they can control that high ground, and Diva also can have that low ground presence if needed. And it seems like we are going to have a pause, but if you look at it, it seems as if the Mercy from Asteri 1 isn't going to make it to the position by the time this clock hits 0. Ike is going to have to run all the way back to that Mercy and cart her to this high ground, because of course she cannot make it to the high ground without someone to fly to.
Now, I really think that this strategy, I don't know how many of you follow the Overwatch League, but in the very early days, I think Season 1, Seoul Dynasty versus Dallas Fuel, they made it to almost 8v8, like 8-8 on the points, and both of them attempted to use as high ground, but it didn't work very well, and it's usually because they were able to dive onto the high ground and get all over it with Genjis and get up there with Divas to keep the Genjis safe. But now if we're not going to be seeing anyone playing the Genji, see anyone who can contest the high ground, it looks like they're going to be pretty much on their own. If they want to get the Diva to contest, there's nothing the Diva can do by herself. Unless they want to get Asteri 1 to cycle, then there's really nothing that WM1 can do here except be cannon fodder on the ground.
Yeah, WM1 is going to have to go up to the high ground on the right of their perspective, or the camera here right behind you. That high ground over there is where they're going to need to be and try and use the Moira Orbs and Diva. Those are the only 2 attacks that they could possibly use across that gap, but really they're going to have to switch off to this dive comp. There's this treehouse comp, I like to call it, because you are so high up in the air. You set up that treehouse with the Orisa shield. I don't necessarily like it because you're putting all of your eggs in one basket. You're putting all 6 players up there, and a good coordinated dive will put all of those 6 players down, especially with all of those AoE attacks. The Winston Tesla gun and the Genji Swift Strike can go through multiple targets, which, well, when there's 6 players standing in that small of an area, normally hits at least 4 of them. But let's see how this works out.
It looks like this isn't something they were expecting. They've got a very meatball-like comp here, and with the 3 supports they've got going now, they might be prepared for the damage and to be able to be on the point and force them to cycle. With all these shields, they might not be able to get enough damage in, which is something I never considered. Do you think that these shields are enough, or do you think that cycling is going to be more important here?
It seems like the cycling is going to work because they're just going to split up the firepower, which is going to allow the shields to be practically ineffective. Now that I say that, HTP and go on both those snipers are going to be picking onto that low ground, but it seems like that is going to be it, and they're going to be able to reset with this treehouse strat.
HTP is coming back from a long walk, but with that grappling ability, she's going to be able to make it up there all on her own, which is really good news for them. It'd be unfortunate to lose a hero like Orisa, which is really the pick you want to see if you're WM1 here. Now the Dragon Strike is going to force them out of this room and out into the open. They're going to try and go for that Orisa. Maybe the Ana, and they're dropping back down. They're being funneled into the middle, but I don't think there's much they can do with this comp. Do you think that they're going to stick on this, or what?
I feel like if they can get enough of a meatball on to the point, they can use this coalescence for their ranged attack. There's a grab on the point, but it seems like it's not going to do very much. A nano boosted Diva Bomb, not really going to help out the Diva Bomb damage, but there was a nano boost on it, so it looked nice and sparkly as it flew through the air. And WM1 are going to continue to just step into this firing range where there's two high grounds, where there's just two different snipers firing down on to the point. But Hanamorai is in the backline, and it looks like he hasn't been spotted. He's by this large health pack, and he might be able to get the drop on one of these supports.
You must like me.
Nana's taken out their Mercy really early, and some pretty good picks trading it from either side. But HTP coming in huge, getting 2 picks off right off the bat, balancing the fight a little bit more than it would have been before. Iron Crit dropping dangerously low here, and being demeched almost immediately. Kakugo fragging out 2 kills here, but ultimately being finished off by Hanamura. This is the kind of response that they wanted, but we've still got Diameister on the point. Maybe going into under a minute, they're not going to have that much time to try and take point 2, which, as we said, was harder. And now the fact that they've held this for as long as they have is really fantastic news for them. So I think this could be, this one out of all of them is going to be the closest, I think.
WM1 was just so stubborn with that game, trying to make it work, and then it took them 3 minutes to switch off. You really need to get faster reads of the enemy team and say, hey, this isn't gonna work, and faster everything apparently as they get 2 picks, and that should really open up the fight for them.
Oh, so
going
beautiful
down.
Diva Bomb by Iron Crit here is really going to close the envelope for this. Now all they need to do is get back on point and put some manpower on point, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do it. It looks like this is a closed fight here, sealed deal.
And that's going to be it. WM1 is going to win map 3, and they're going to take it with a not so convincing 3-0. It was very back and forth for most of the matches. You saw them almost not take point 1. It was a very good game and a fun game to watch. And WM1 is going to be headed to the finals against a undetermined opponent, as the other semifinals match has not happened yet.
Now, just for our viewers and for myself, do you know when the other semifinals match is scheduled to happen?
I do not know when the other semifinals match is going to happen, but you should be getting a notification if you are following the Twitch account and turned on those notifications. Then you will get a notification of when the next semifinals match is live. And yeah, that's about it. It's been a pleasure casting with you, Thirstal. And any last words?
I'm not on death row, am I?
No.
Oh boy. No, this was fantastic. It was a great first experience, and it was a pleasure casting with you as well. Good first match.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out. This has been the OTC NA Semi-Pro Semifinals, WM1 versus Asteri 1, 3-0 in the favor of WM1. Thank you for coming out. See you next time.